Welcome back to Dubsy Bricks for another episode of Building Mandalore in Lego. Last few weeks I've been working on the mines of Mandalore. I've got the forge to build here. However, what I want to do before I make a start on the forge is try and calculate how many bricks I'm going to need for this build. First of all, I need to work out the amount of filler brick I'm going to need. That's obviously needs to come up to the same height as that section just there. I think it's around about 8,000 bricks I'm going to need just for that part alone. I then want to work out how many grey bricks I'm going to need for the buildings, the dark bluish grey and the light bluish grey, just approximately. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get some Technic bricks out and I'm going to build a skeleton of the buildings on here. That way it's going to give me an idea of how high I need to be, and then I can calculate approximately how many of those bricks I'm going to need. So let's get those Technic bricks out and let's start building. And here we have the start of the planning. And as you can see, I've got all the stilts going up. So this would be the level where the main buildings are on. So it's that section just there. So this part here where the multicolour filler brick is would be the grey section just there. And obviously we've already got the Mines of Mandalore, which is the section along this part here. Now, the one problem I am having at the moment is visualising how this centre bit here is. Now, at the moment, as you can see, there's the circular hole in there which leads down to the tunnels. Now, in the episodes of the Clone Wars, when we see that, it's quite a deep tunnel or chute that goes down into the tunnels. And on here at the moment, if I imagine the tunnel is going to be 6 or 7 bricks in height going along there, the actual chute's only going to be about 10 bricks, which isn't very big, and it's not going to give the effect that I was expecting or hoping for on there. So I just need to work out how I'm going to compromise on that. I don't really want to build this up by another 10 or 20 bricks, because if you imagine the amount of filler brick I'm going to need all the way around here just to get that one effect, I just don't think it's going to look right. So I might have to use some creative license on there just to get away with that. Another decision I've decided, I'm not going to build bricks all the way around the back of the MOC here. It is just a complete waste of bricks. It's 192 studs in length along there. So if I was to use 4x1 bricks, every row of bricks going up is 48 4x1s. And if I'm talking like 40 bricks high, it's just a ridiculous amount of bricks. Already I've worked out, I think it's about 8,000 2x2 filler bricks I'm going to need using this style here just to do the supports around the back and a little bit on the front here. But this is proving to be a really good exercise, just building this section up as it is at the moment, just to give me that idea of visualising exactly how it's going to be. So next up, we're going to try and see if we can get the buildings in a similar sort of like design here. So just using the Technic beams going up. I've miscalculated one brick somewhere as this is dipping down a little bit, so this is going to be interesting just trying to get this all together. But anyway, that's enough talking. Let's get back to building up the framework here, and then we check back in once we've got those buildings up. And here we have it. This is how big Mandalore is going to be. This building here is 80 bricks in height. The one over the other side at the moment, I'm showing that as 80 bricks in height as well. However, as you can see on the bottom, there is going to be the added part on top. So it's probably going to be closer to 100 bricks high once I get over to that side. The building there, as you can see, which is suspended on a tower rope, that's the one that's actually going to be suspended out of the side of that building. So now I know that these are the sizes that it's all going to be. I can now start calculating the bricks on it. Now on the little MOC that I've made down here, you can see the building comes right to the front of the platform area, or the base area should I say. And over there I've done it so it's a few bricks back, and I'm thinking about having that so it's more like a courtyard area along the front. So again, that's something I'll think about a little bit more as I go along, but at least this has given me a really good idea of the bricks I need ordering and how big this MOC's going to be once it's done. Now obviously bearing in mind we've got to make the starfighter that's going to go on the top there, it's going to be getting even taller, but again, at least I now know how big I can make the starfighter in length and width. And as you can see down there, that is the size of the Lego set, and I can probably make it twice as big as that, so it's sitting on there nicely. So let's start calculating what bricks we need, and then we can start placing some orders. And here we have our first Lego haul for the Mandalore MOC, and this has come directly from lego.com, and it's just parts for the Mandalorian starfighter that we're going to be creating. And it's some of the wedged slope pieces in here. I think these are classed as bows, and they sort of like sit over the top of there. There's these curved bricks in here as well, which I think are the wheel arches off of the Porsche set. Got cockpit glass and also some of these arches as well. Cockpit glass, not 100% sure whether this is the best colour for it. However, it looked like it was going to be the right shape and size, so I thought I'd get that one in anyway. Now what I'm going to try and do is get as many parts and pieces in as possible that I think I'm going to be needing for the Mandalore Starfighter, and then that way when it comes to building that model I'm not going to have to wait for them to come in. And it was a lot easier to get these parts directly from lego.com rather than Bricklink. There was no Bricklink seller that was selling all of these parts, so it was a lot cheaper just to get it from Lego and not pay the postage. I'm just in the middle of calculating how many bricks I need for doing the support structure on Mandalore, and it's all to do with this building just here that I'm trying to work out at the moment. Now this is the mock of how I want to make it modular, so this part slides down into here. So I need to try and build this base plate up here, which is the one which will be round the back here at the bottom. And I need to build a support structure all the way in here, which is going to look like that basically. Now this mock up here indicates that the whole of this building is sort of like going over the two base plates. I'm just going to have it on the back one here, so the support structure is going to be built into this one. So I want to build up as much of this base plate as I can now, getting it all ready, because obviously if I can go up here, it's a good few thousand bricks I might not need to order on the 2x2 side of it. And here we have the multicoloured block that is going to be the support structure for the right hand building. And how it's going to work, there's two sections here where the pins are going to slide into. One thing I will probably do though is raise this entire section up so it's actually on the stilts. So I'm going to do the stilts the same as what I've got over there, and then this section will be sat on top of it, and I think that's going to be strong enough to do so. So it's going to be 18, I think it's 18 bricks underneath this. That'll take it up to the 40, and that will be that job done. I've just rewatched a couple of episodes of The Mandalorian to get some visual images for the Living Waters and also the Great Forge. And I've realised that the Great Forge needs to have a much taller area than what I've allowed for it in this section just here. Now the only way that I can work out of getting around this is by moving the Living Waters from the right hand side here to the centre, and the Great Forge from the centre over to the right hand side. What I can then do is move this chute that goes down into these tunnels here over a little bit, and then I have the tunnels going across this section just here, and they'll stop here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the Great Forge come up in this section a lot higher up than was originally planned. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rebuild the bottom section of this mini mock just to visually see it better for myself. Then I'll check back in and show you how it's going to look. And then once I've done that, I can make a start on the actual model. And here is the revised layout of how Mandalore is now going to look. So we've got the Living Waters right next to the Mines of Mandalore, and then we've got the Great Forge on the end there. So as you can see, the tunnels here are now no longer going the whole width of the mock. It's just going to be, you come down the chute, there'll be a short one going to the right, and then the other one going to the room on the end here. So at least I've worked that out now, so I can visualise a lot more what we're going to be doing in each part of the mock. And the next base plate we're ready to start work on, and this is going to be the Living Waters of Mandalore. So I'm going to have a water section at the front, then the steps going up, then the path that leads to the entrance at the back there, and on both sides I'm going to put some rock work. I've started the steps for the Mines of Mandalore that lead into the Living Waters, and originally I was going to put some of the slope pieces in here. However, I'm not happy with the little ridge bit that you get between the two where it just steps up that little bit. So I've decided I want to put a tile tilted at an angle. So I've come up with this little contraption here. So I've used one of the little hinge pieces or a bracket, and then that's going to enable me to put that in the gap, and then it's going to be a nice smooth surface going all the way up to the top of it. So all I need to do now is make another one, pop it in there, and then I can plate off the rest of that section. There are the two slopes on the stairs leading down to the living waters. Now on the back here it is off by half a stud, so what I've done is I've put an inverted slope on a jumper plate. That will then just clip into place on there, and then I can put another tile on like so, and it's pretty much touching. There is a very slight gap there, however from the front it looks a lot better than if I'd used the slopes going up there. Basically the gaps on the side, you won't see those as I'm going to be tiling on top of all of these steps. So what I'm going to do now is do a trench all the way along on the two where those two lines are, so I can continue this pattern along, and it just needs to be off by that half stud, and then I'm going to plate off the entire section around there, all ready to do the entrance into the living waters area and also the rock work on the sides. And I must learn to look at the source material that a little bit closer. I've done the section at the back here, as you can see, and I've just looked at the pictures again just to check a couple of details on the base here and realised there's actually some more steps at the back. So I just need to peel that off, put the steps in, and then put that back on. A couple more amendments have now been made. Really happy with how the back section here is, that leads into the living waters of Mandalore. And next up, I'm just going to put the rock work on either side where these burps are, and also out the back there. Try and get as much of that done as possible. And again, need to build it up to probably about 18 bricks in height in total. And then I can start doing the details on the front section. Here we have the start of the living waters. So as you see, you've got the water section down the bottom here. And originally I had this all black plate underneath. However, I have changed it out. So you've got one row of light bluish grey as if it's the next step down, and then I've gone for a dark bluish grey to make it look like the step after that, so a little bit further, and then it goes to the black to make it look like it's a really deep waters where Mando fell all the way down. The section at the back, I put some black bricks just to close off that passageway. And once all of this is tiled, I think it's going to have a really nice effect to it. And I will do the tile effect on here so it's all broken up, leading down to the waters here. And there'll be a pillar on either side. So let's move this base plate over to the mock table and see how it looks next to the actual mines. And here we have the base plate next to the Mines of Mandalore. The living waters are there. I'm loving the water effect on here, especially the steps. They really do stand out when you look up close to it. It's not shown as well on the camera as it does in real life. Looking forward to getting the rockwork all finished along here and then start putting the pillars up. And I think swapping these two sections over is definitely the right way forward. Having the Great Forge here, I think is going to be really good, and especially as I'm going to be able to build it a lot taller now. I have placed a massive Bricklink order, and hopefully that will be here in the next week. It's got 17,000 pieces, or over 17,000 pieces in that order. So it was a big order. I had budgeted for this mock, and I thought I might as well get all the bricks in from one place. They were ridiculously priced, so it was well worthwhile doing. And it's going to enable me to build this entire back section up, but also I can start on the buildings at any time I want to. So that's all good as well. And there'll be bricks for going around the sides. So I think it's about 8,000 odd of the 2x2 bricks, and the rest are light bluish and dark bluish grey bricks. So I can't wait to receive that order. It is going to be a big one, so I look forward to getting that. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the update. If you have, please give us a big thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content on the channel. And please share it with family and friends. Anyway, thanks for hopping on by. See you next time. Bye for now.